Reverend Insanity, Chapter 3, Please Go Aside and Scram. Bang. Bang bang. Bang bang. The patrolling night watchman struck his wooden clapper in a steady rhythm. The sound carried into the raised wooden house. Fang Yuan opened his dry eyes and thought, "It is the fifth watch." He had lain awake for a long time the previous night, thinking through one plan after another. Altogether he had slept for little more than 2 hours. This body had not yet begun cultivating, so its vitality was far from abundant. Waves of fatigue and drowsiness still weighed upon both body and mind. But more than 500 years of experience had long since forged Fang Yuan a will as deep and unyielding as steel. Such a small desire for sleep amounted to nothing. He immediately pushed aside the thin silk quilt and rose with clean, decisive movements. When he opened the window, the spring rain had already stopped. Fresh, damp air carrying the mingled fragrance of earth, trees, and wildflowers rushed toward him. Fang Yuan's mind instantly cleared, and the last of his grogginess vanished. The sun had not yet risen. The sky was a profound blue, poised between darkness and light. As far as the eye could see, raised houses built from green bamboo and timber rested against the mountains, forming a quiet expanse of secluded green. Every raised house stood at least 2 stories high, a structure unique to the mountain folk. Because the ground was steep and uneven, the first story consisted of massive timber piles, while the living quarters occupied the second. Fang Yuan and his younger brother, Fang Zheng, lived on that upper floor.
Young Master Fang Yuan, you are awake. This servant will come upstairs at once and help you wash.
A young woman's voice rose from below. Fang Yuan looked down and saw his personal maid, Shen Cui. Her looks were only somewhat above average, but she dressed carefully. She wore a green blouse with long sleeves and matching trousers, embroidered shoes on her feet, and a pearl hairpin in her black hair. Youthful vitality seemed to radiate from her entire body. She gave Fang Yuan a delighted glance, then hurried up the stairs, carrying a basin of water. The water had been warmed to the proper temperature for washing his face. To clean the mouth, a willow twig was dipped in snow salt, which cleansed and whitened the teeth. Shen Cui attended him gently, smiling with flirtation in her eyes. Afterward, she helped him dress and fastened his clothes, repeatedly brushing her full chest against his arm or back as she worked. Fang Yuan remained expressionless, his heart as still as water. This maid was not only his uncle and aunt's spy, but vain and cold-hearted as well. In his previous life she had deceived him. The moment his status plummeted after the aperture awakening ceremony, she turned against him and treated him with no small amount of contempt. When Feng Zheng arrived, he happened to see Shen Cui smoothing a crease across Fang Yuan's chest. A flicker of envy and jealousy passed through his eyes. During the years he had lived with his elder brother under Fang Yuan's care, Fang Zheng too had been assigned a servant, but his attendant was no young maid like Shen Cui. She was a heavy-set old matron.
What would it feel like if Shen Cui attended me this way one day?
The thought tempted Fang Zheng, though he scarcely dared entertain it. Everyone in the household knew that their uncle and aunt favored Fang Yuan. Originally, Fang Zheng had not been given any servant at all. It was Fang Yuan who had taken the initiative and asked for one on his behalf. Despite the distinction between master and servant, Fang Zheng never dared look down upon Shen Cui. Her mother was Nanny Shen, the steward of the entire household and their aunt's most trusted attendant. She wielded considerable authority.
Enough. There is no need to fuss any longer.
Fang Yuan impatiently brushed aside Shen Cui's soft hands. His clothes were already neat. She was doing little more than trying to entice him. From her perspective, Fang Yuan's future was brilliant, and there was a strong chance he possessed A-grade aptitude. If she could become his concubine, she could rise from servant to mistress in a single step. In his previous life, Fang Yuan had been taken in and had even fallen for this maid. After his rebirth, he saw everything with perfect clarity, and his heart was cold as frost.
You may leave.
Fang Yuan did not even look at Shen Cui as he adjusted his sleeve. Shen Cui pouted slightly, finding his indifference today both strange and aggrieving. She wanted to say something coquettish, but an elusive, unfamiliar quality in Fang Yuan intimidated her. She opened her mouth several times, then finally answered.
Yes.
She withdrew obediently.
Are you ready?
Fang Yuan looked toward Fang Zheng. His younger brother stood blankly in the doorway, his head lowered and his eyes fixed upon his toes. In truth, Fang Zheng had woken during the fourth watch. Too nervous to sleep, he had quietly risen and prepared himself long ago. Dark circles shadowed both eyes. Fang Yuan nodded. He had never understood his brother's thoughts in his previous life, but how could he fail to comprehend them now? There was no point exposing them at present. He merely instructed him in a detached voice.
Then let us go.
The two brothers left their residence. Along the way, they encountered many youths their own age traveling in groups of 2 or 3, evidently bound for the same destination.
Look, those are the two Fang brothers.
A cautious whisper reached their ears.
The one walking in front is Fang Yuan, the Fang Yuan who composed those poems.
So that is him. Expressionless and acting as though no one else exists. He truly is every bit as arrogant as the rumors say.
His sour tone carried both jealousy and envy.
If you could do what he has done, you could act that arrogantly too.
The cold reply concealed a trace of resentment. Fang Zheng listened without expression. He had long grown accustomed to such discussions. He kept his head down and followed silently behind his elder brother. Dawn already brightened the horizon, and Fang Yuan's shadow fell across Fang Zheng's face. The rising sun climbed higher, yet Fang Zheng abruptly felt as though he were walking into darkness. That darkness came from his brother. Perhaps he would never escape the immense shadow Fang Yuan cast over his entire life. Pressure rose in his chest in suffocating waves. It became difficult even to breathe, and the hateful sensation brought the very word suffocation to mind.
A tree that rises above the forest will inevitably be battered by the wind. These whispers prove the saying well enough.
Fang Yuan sneered inwardly as he listened. No wonder enemies had surrounded him after his C-grade aptitude was revealed, and he had endured so long a period of harsh treatment, contemptuous looks, and cold neglect. He also heard every increasingly heavy breath from Fang Zheng behind him. What he had failed to notice in his previous life was now clear in the smallest detail. That keen insight had been honed through 500 years of living. His thoughts turned suddenly to his uncle and aunt. They truly possessed some methods. They had assigned Shen Cui to watch Fang Yuan closely while giving Fang Zheng an old matron. Countless other differences in their treatment ran through the brothers' daily lives. Every one of those differences was deliberate. They were meant to stir resentment in Fang Zheng's heart and drive a wedge between the brothers. People did not resent having little. They resented unequal shares. In his previous life, Fang Yuan had possessed too little experience, while his brother had been too foolish and naive. Their uncle and aunt had successfully turned them against each other. Now that Fang Yuan had been reborn, the aperture awakening ceremony stood close at hand. The situation might seem too deeply entrenched to reverse, but with the methods and wisdom of a demonic overlord, he had no shortage of ways to change it. He could thoroughly suppress and subdue this younger brother. He could even draw a trifling maid like Shen Cui into his harem ahead of time. As for his uncle and aunt, the clan leader, and the elders, he could think of at least several hundred ways to warn and manipulate them.
But I do not wish to do any of that.
Fang Yuan gave a leisurely sigh within his heart.
So what if he is my own younger brother? There is no familial affection between us. He is merely an outsider. If I abandon him, then I abandon him. So what if Shen Cui is beautiful? Without love or loyalty, she is nothing but a body. Take her into my harem. She is unworthy. So what of my uncle and aunt, the clan leader, or the elders? They are only passing travelers in my life. Why waste thought and effort manipulating people who will soon be left behind? Heh! So long as they do not obstruct my path, they can go aside and play their own games. They are not even worth the effort of stepping on.